Over my years, I've noticed the same bad habit while working with new developers and bootcamp students. They all use the same git command to stage their changes, and it is the git add dash dash all, or you might know it as git add period when entering the command. Don't get me wrong, this is a very powerful command to run because it just takes all the changes that you currently have and stages them for commit. While it might seem like a good idea, it can cause a lot of problems. First, adding files to your staging area without inspecting them can lead to mistakes and errors. If you add files you didn't intend to, it can lead to confusion when working in the code base. Secondly, you can accidentally commit debug statements. Those console logs that you put in your code breaks, or just comments or notes that you're throwing into the code while working with it. You'll accidentally commit those too because you're not verifying what you're actually putting in. And thirdly, constantly committing work that you don't intend to can end up reflecting poorly on you and your performance in the future. You want to try to avoid making it look like you're not being meticulous and you're not being careful, and that you are avoiding committing code that can result in either bugs or unintended output. For these reasons, I personally use a different git command, and it is the git add patch command. So let me demonstrate to you what that command does. So originally we were talking about the git add dash all. So let's take a look at the status of my current work in this project. So we can see that I have a number of changes going on in here. I've gone through and I had applied some new linter rules. So it's doing some reformatting, some prettier on here. And if I were to do the git add fetch all or git add period, which I've seen more commonly people use, we would just do that. And then if we check our status again, we can see all our files have changed, and we would just go ahead and begin commit. But we don't know what we're just about to stage and what we're about to commit. Let's backtrack a bit and undo those changes. Now we're back at square one. We haven't staged anything yet. So again, instead of doing the git add period, let's do git add dash dash patch. And let's take a look at what that's going to allow us to do. So the powerful thing with git add patch is that it allows us to take a look at all the changes to our existing files, and we can go through and we can verify whether those changes is something we actually want. On the very bottom, you could see that there's this kind of cryptic stage this hunk with a bunch of abbreviations on there. If you just do the question mark command, at the top of this output, if we scroll up, we can see what each one of these different commands means. Most of the time, you'll be either saying, yes, I want this to be staged. No, I don't want this to be staged. Or those are the basic ones. There, you can also use that you just don't want to stage anything in this file, and a couple other more advanced commands, but we'll just stick with yes and no, typing in Y or N. So let's go through and make these changes. So this change looks good to me, so I will click yes. This change looks fine too, just a couple line changes. But the powerful thing about doing this as going through this is actually we are reviewing our code that we're making. So this allows us to be a little bit more meticulous and re-verify the changes that we are trying to commit, and also look at it in a different light. Typically, we're so used to looking at our code in the editor that we might not see potential bugs or potential errors of input and stuff like that we would see in a different manner. It's kind of like proofreading an essay, a day later, or printing it out and spell checking things versus looking at it on a monitor. This allows us a different format, so since we're kind of mixing things up, we can see things a little bit different. So we're just going through here and we're just double checking this stuff. Yep, I want to stage that. That looked good. That was a little refactor to an arrow function. We did a little refactoring from from lets and if statements to just doing a ternary. But wait a minute, we have a console log in there now. That I didn't want to do that. This was just part of my debugging output. But I do want the rest of these changes in here. I just don't want this. So you can do one thing. We can either go back into the code. So we can click no on here, not stage this for changes. So let's go ahead and do that first. And I'll show you a different way that we can actually remove console log. So let's see what happens if I click no, and we'll see what the get status ends up looking like for everything. So we'll say no to that, and we'll say yes to this, yes to this, yes to this. And I know for sure that all the other changes are changes that I currently want. We'll say yeah to that, yes to that. And now we're done. So let's go ahead and check our get status again. So now that we've checked our get status, we can see all these files have been changed, but we actually have the changes that were done in box size button. Those aren't changed. Those aren't staged because we had said no. So if we were to go back and do the get add dash dash pack, or if you want to do it for short, get add dash p, click that, we're taking back to the stage changes for this file. And we see, again, we are presented with all the changes in the file in this view. And, an option that I mentioned before is we could go directly to the file and delete the console log, but also we can selectively stage things that are inside a file. And that actually has to do with the S command. So if we check up what the S command does, it splits the current hunk into smaller hunks. So this whole view here is a hunk. Funny name. But let's try splitting it so we can do smaller pieces. So if we do S, now what it's done is it's taken that large output of all those changes and it's tried to identify them into smaller pieces. So now instead of a long set of changes, now it's trying to do more bite-sized chunks. So the import statements, yeah, we want that. This change to this selector, yep, that's good. The change for the from the lets and the ifs to ternary, yeah, we totally want that. This console log though, we don't want that. So let's go ahead and say no to. So now we're completed because we were just looking at the changes, and we check the get status on here, and now box size button. So box size button shows up here as modified here, not staged, but then box size button is up here too because we've staged some of those additional changes. If we were to do a get diff, we can actually see in our get diff that there is one whole change that's not been staged, and that's the console log that we had said no to. Now we can be on our merry way and commit our ESLint formatting changes, and we're done. So that's how you can improve your Git workflow, by completely removing the usage of the get add period, get add dash dash all. By moving and converting over to using get add patch, it allows you to review the changes that you've made, verify them, and actually confirm that you want them. This has the added benefit of potentially catching bugs in your code, and it allows you to look at your code in a different light, so you can realize, hey, you know what? I think I can do that method a little bit better. Oh, you know what? I think I can refactor that a little bit more. And it's a benefit to you because you will catch potential bugs, errors in your commits sooner, reflecting better on you professionally. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you like this content, please click that subscribe button. My goal for the next year is to reach 1,000 subscribers. So if you like what you see, go ahead and hit that like button and click subscribe. Thanks.